Hi folks, hey, maybe now is the time for some really good news and celebrations. And we're going to actually, I think, do a couple of these different celebrations over the next few months. But the first one I want to celebrate is our First Fruits campaign. Little over a year ago, I stood almost right in this exact same place, and I talked about our First Fruits campaign, which was a capital campaign, but it was a different kind of capital campaign. In this capital campaign, our idea was to raise funds in order to help with some of the projects here around the church, but we also knew the need to be able to also give to missions. Now, a lot of times when you do a capital campaign, the mission donations that come are at the end of that campaign. In other words, after you have received all the monies in, you give maybe 10%, 15%, whatever the church wants to do to give to missions. Well, what we decided to do was to turn that around. And what we decided was we were not going to give 10%. We were going to give 1/3 of what was pledged, 1/3 of what our goal was to missions. And not only that, but we determined that because this is a First Fruits campaign, we would give of the first fruits of what we received in. And so we made that commitment, and over this last year, after 1 year of this 3-year campaign, we have received in, now our goal, mind you, was $395,000. We received in this first year over $250,000. That's right, we received $250,000 for this campaign. But we also kept our promise. Because of that money that was received in, the first fruits of that money went to our mission causes. $135,000 was given to mission. We had 3 mission causes, and that was given and has already been given completely and in full to the 3 mission causes we have. It was a great campaign, but I want you to see and understand a little bit more about what those mission causes were. One of the biggest recipients of the mission causes was Bountiful Harvest. Now, Bountiful Harvest is a food distribution center. It's got clothing. They distribute clothing. They help with other children's needs and all kinds of things. And you know what? During this time of COVID, what's happened with Bountiful Harvest is that their normal clientele has tripled in the number of people that have come and come and received help from that Bountiful Harvest. I want to show you that right here. So it's just right across from our church. What we did was not only did we give our funds, but we also gave the land for which Bountiful Harvest was built. And so right here, this Bountiful Harvest building was built with 105,000 of the 135 that was given to mission. But you know, that wasn't it. That wasn't the only recipient. There were other recipients as well. So one of those was the Severe Weather Network. The Severe Weather Network is a temporary housing for those persons who are experiencing homelessness, especially during the time when here in Michigan, the weather radically changes from warm like it is today to very cold. We gave from our First Fruits campaign $20,000 to the Severe Weather Network. That helped them hire for the first time ever a staff person to help them run the Severe Weather Network, this temporary shelter. But that wasn't it. We as a church also have a relationship with the House of Healing, which is a medical as well as a missionary ministry down in Guatemala. With the funds that we gave, $10,000, they were able to expand their medical mission, and they were able to build a clinic that serves Guatemalans that have come to this place looking for medical care, especially for those who can't afford medical care. So again, $135,000 was given in 2019 through the beginning part of 2020 to those mission causes. But you know, because this was a capital campaign, it didn't just affect the mission. But we made sure that some of those funds actually stayed here at home too, because we knew we had some projects that were facing us. And so one of the first things we did was we realized we needed to get a new sign. That sign that we had, that old sign, it was falling apart. And we were able to get a digital sign that is now on Grand River And that digital sign lets people know, especially right now during this time of COVID, that they can go online and they can watch our videos, they can watch our devotionals, they can watch our worship services. And we also have a way now of communicating to other people within our community things that are going on, not just in our church, but ways in which we might share a thank you to folks. The other project that we knew that we needed to get done was our organ. Our organ was beginning to fall apart. It was getting old and we were having some issues with it. And so part of those funds were to go to refurbish the organ. Now, that organ hasn't been refurbished yet because what ended up happening was during this time of COVID, we could not get the work done that we needed to get done. But we now have signed the contract, and as soon as they're able to, they are going to begin that project of refurbishing our beautiful organ to provide music for us. The other thing that happened, and this was really almost by accident or almost by the cause that we had before us, was through extra mission giving that you all had, plus some of this money that we had from our First Fruits campaign, we were able to purchase the equipment that was needed so that we could live stream. Now, you look at all of those projects and you realize that in this first year of that capital campaign, there is an awful lot to celebrate, but I'm standing here in the parking lot as well, and you know that we got to fix this parking lot, because the thing about this parking lot is, you think parking lots aren't very sexy to kind of do some kind of missions work for, but this parking lot becomes dangerous in the winter. And so we want to refurbish this parking lot so that it is safe and people can come here to worship when we are finally open again and be able to experience all that we have to offer here at the church. So I'm going to have my cameraman kind of turn this a little bit. So once again, here's what I want to do. I want to thank you, first of all, for the gifts that have already been given to our First Fruits campaign. If you still have made a pledge and you are still finishing that campaign, I hope that you're able to continue to do that. We know that this is a difficult time and financially folks are struggling right now. But if you're able to continue with that pledge, we hope that you will. And if you didn't pledge in the beginning but would like to pledge, you can give to our First Fruits campaign either by sending a check to the church, or you can go online and there's a place on our online giving where you can designate those gifts to the First Fruits campaign. Everything that is given to that will go to the campaign. And here's the other thing. When we did these pledges, I told you that our goal was $395,000. The pledges that came in were $412,000. So what we've done is we've made the commitment that after we have received our funds, after we have gone over the $395,000, we will continue to split the money that is received in for that campaign, 1/3 to mission and 2/3 to the church. So that's one of the big celebrations. Was this a successful campaign? I think it was more successful than we can ever imagine. And it was because of you that the things that we've talked about have been done in this community as well as at this church. So thank you for your gifts. We pray that you will continue to give your gifts towards that First Fruits campaign and continue to give to the other mission causes that are in our community as well as to the church. Thanks so much. Celebrate that wonderful thing that you all did. Thanks.